Hey there, it's Jessie here. Welcome to the channel. Big warm welcome. If you're coming back, you know that I love you. And if you're completely new and you clicked here, well, congratulations, you found it to this tiny corner of the internet. Lucky you. Felt like doing an evil laugh then, but I won't. I'll keep it light. Alright guys, how are we doing today? I am going to talk about advice and the nature of advice, my current musings of it. Because, I don't know, it's just been coming up. And when we give advice unsolicited and how it makes us feel when our unsolicited advice is not listened to, or even sometimes our solicited advice isn't listened to, but also when we're on the other end of that and we receive advice or unsolicited advice, and when that angers us, and just to sort of sort through all of these, like, what's really going on here. So when we receive advice, unsolicited advice, and it makes us kind of angry. Because this came up, right? Because I got a friend who's got a guest house. So he's with a lot of people that move in and out and stay and all of this. And he says one of the most common causes of arguments is somebody giving advice. That causes an argument. So it got me thinking, why? And I wonder if we receive advice from another, that it somehow challenges our sense of self-worth and autonomy. I can make my own decisions. Don't tell me what to do. You don't know me. Which is true. We don't really know each other. We don't even know ourselves. We don't know the whole situation. I always like to remind myself, I am a limited perspective of consciousness. And we're multi-dimensional beings with infinite possibilities all happening in this one moment. Yet we only have access to one tiny part of that. So that's something I like to remember. So, and it's often what I feel is when somebody's giving me advice, inside I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what's going on here. And I need to grant that for other people. I don't know the whole of what they're going through and their family history and their life experience and, past lives and ancestral lineage and all of that, their culture, their fucking everything that has made them the person they are, today that we see, and the decisions that they're making. And it's so easy for us to look at others and be like, don't do that, that's dumb, that's stupid. Well, yeah, but it's really easy for those people to do the same to us. So I think when we receive advice and it triggers us, and it's sort of, remember, I tell myself, where's my conviction in what I'm choosing to do in this decision? If they say something opposing to what I'm choosing, it's not, oh God, I'm wrong, there must be something wrong. No, it's yeah, but based on who I am, and I'm going to stay in my center, rooted, grounded, and I've considered that, and hear it. Does it take it in? Does it resonate? Maybe. Now, one thing I've had to learn with this is it's for the most part quite easy for me to do that, because I've consciously established a strong sense of self that is flexible and ever-changing, but still. But with people that I really respect and really, really love and almost put above me, because I do that, I take on their advice much more readily. And sometimes I don't check in with myself. And what's happened in those situations is a bit further down the line, as events have unfolded, I go back and think, when that person was giving advice, they didn't consider this. Only I had access to that information since I'm in the position. And I really took on board what they said. And actually now this has happened, I can go back and think, oh, yeah, that's probably more why I was feeling that. So just to add that, something I had to learn. What was more challenging for me to stay in my center when I really, really respect those people. And probably another reason for me not to consider people above or below, I'm really working on that, but it's still in me. So there we go. Now, when I give unsolicited advice, which happens a lot, if anybody knows human design, I'm a projector. If you don't know the system or you completely think it's bollocks, that's okay too. I use these systems to help understand me better, whether they're true or not. I don't really care. Does it serve me? Yes or no? That's how I operate. And this system really served me a few years ago to learn that I was a projector, because the strategy that they give for projectors is wait for the invitation. So within this system, a projector is somebody who actually operates quite differently and has a bird's eye vision and a penetrating aura. Meaning projectors' aura, and I've experienced this in my life, can penetrate another, and you can see and feel what's going on in their life more than they care for. You know, projectors, and the guy who came up with this whole system and wrote it says, when you become sensitive, projectors are those people when you're standing in a line and then there's somebody behind you, you feel them and you even look. This happens to me all the time. I walk and people are because they feel that penetrating aura. Now, projectors are here to guide. They have this tool to guide the person because we have access to your inner world, believe it or not. Yeah, you might think I'm crazy, and that's okay. I am. Now, if somebody sees us or sees how we work and they recognize that I am able to help them in some way, and then they come and ask me for advice, they have opened up their system to be penetrated and to be read, and they can appreciate that I have something that will help them. It's not to say that my perspective is right or wrong. If I'm recognized by that other, they've identified that whatever I will say will help them. Now, the thing about projectors is we often, before I knew about this, and this is why it's helped me, is I would use this and I'd be reading in and I'm like, oh, it's this. And if nobody's asked for that, you're literally invading their space, their aura, their energetic body. And whether they know they have an energetic body or not, people feel it, man. They feel invaded and then can often get this bit Humphrey, don't tell me what to do. You don't know me. So it's been very, very helpful for me to learn that I'm a projector and just wait for the invitation, although it's easier said than done. I'm telling you that for free. It's a practice. It's a daily practice for me. Because when I give advice, and I think when most good-natured, good, kind-hearted people give advice, it's coming from love, right? It's I've been in a similar situation, I've had this experience, and I want to share what I found. I want to share so you don't have to go through the same lessons and the same pain. But there's so much wrong with that because, first of all, the situation is not the same. And advice is so subjective. Good advice, I believe, is born in the present moment. It's not even if I go through a situation and what I learned from it was X, Y, Z, that's not even relevant advice for somebody else, X, Y, Z, because they're a different person with different life experience and different lessons to learn and different capabilities and different sensitivities. Everything's different. Sometimes advice can be general, but most of the time I think it's incredibly unique. So what I'm practicing, and this is what my video is, me for myself wanting to integrate this approach to advice, is let it be born in the moment. So I'm going to give an example, and this is completely hypothetical and made up. So if a friend was feeling depressed and they were deciding whether to take antidepressants or not, and they're talking it out with me. Now, the first thing that would happen is my own opinion and judgment about antidepressants would bubble up inside of me. That ain't good advice for that person. That's just my opinion based on my life and the decision I would take for my body. So when my little personal opinion about antidepressants bubbles up, I park it. Not relevant right now. It's not about what I would do in this situation. Park the judgment and opinion. And then next thing I'm going to do is listen and observe. What words are they using when they talk about it? How does their voice change when they talk about the two options? How does their body language change when they talk? And I would take all of this in. And then instead of using everything that I've taken in and say, well, I think you should do this. I'm going to say, I noticed that when you were talking about taking them, your body seemed to, as an example, relax. You felt more confident and your voice dropped. And when you talked about not taking them, there seemed to be these changes. And you used this word. And just mirror back what they're saying, because you know what I think? I think we all know deep down. We might not always have access to our deeper wisdom, but it's coming out of us. And it's what's so beautiful if we can really listen and observe people and mirror back the words that they use and what we've seen to let them decide. I noticed all of this, and you said this, and you used this word. Seems to me. What do you think? This is my new approach to giving advice. I'm going to try my hardest. When I receive unsolicited advice, I'm going to remember that it's probably coming from a place of love, unless it isn't, because I don't actually think it always is. And that's okay. Remember, with those I deem more wise or more experienced than I, to be careful not to override my own judgment based on what they say. And really honor the intelligence of each individual and how they are behaving the way they are, because that's what's got them this far. That's what helped them survive. Even if we see through like unconscious, like manipulative behaviors, whatever it is, well, they learned it. And the other thing that I want to do is really, really give people the grace that they can change in a day. You know, like I've noticed this sometimes, if I see somebody behaving like quite unconsciously or manipulative or like, I will have boundaries for that, because energetically I feel it and I don't want it to interfere with my energy, quite frankly. But I need to be more open to that they are going through their own transformative journey, and also give them the opportunity to change, you know, not just write them off. That's something I need to do more. And you know, with boundaries and see if they are doing this. I think sometimes I can give people too much credit because I'm so self-reflective and like committed to this path that sometimes I project that onto others when it's not always there. But I would really love to be meeting and greeting and seeing people with their highest potential as a possibility. I think the moment that we're like interacting with somebody and we've already made an assessment or a judgment about the kind of person they are and how they can behave, then they will show you that. Trust me, I do it. If somebody deems me a certain way, I give them what they want. So I really want to be open. Okay, I got to watch this back and see what I've just told myself that I don't think I realized. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like the video. That's a really nice exchange. Thank you. Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you are completely new and you like this and you see where it's going, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful life. We've got this.